I grew up in Massachusetts, and when I moved to LA, I thought to myself, every single day, I'm gonna go to the beach. Because, especially in the winter months, it's kind of a nice little FU to Massachusetts. Look at me now, you know? And especially like in the months of like March, for example, in Boston, it's pure shit. It's when the snow has turned brown and it's still freezing cold and it's not nice. So it was like my third March in LA and I was living in Venice and I'd gone out the night before and I woke up in the morning and I had to shoot something that day and I was like, all right, I'm gonna go down to the beach, I'm gonna hop in the water, I'm gonna get this day started the LA way, right? So I go down to the beach. It's beautiful. It's like 8 a.m., very serene, no one's around. I sit on the sand and I like meditate a little bit because I live in LA now. And then I walk into the water and I kind of walk out far and the water feels cold and I dive in and I come back up and I'm like, oh, see you later, hangover. I feel great. And so I'm just kind of treading water for a little bit. And then I turn back to look at the shore, and it's a little further than I expected. And so I like start to swim in, and I wasn't really going anywhere. And at that moment, I realized something about myself. I'm a fucking wimp. Because I literally went from being like, it's fine. I've been swimming since I was 3 years old. I'm fine. This is totally, to, help! Help! And I look back at the beach and nobody's there. There's nobody in the lifeguard tower. It's still closed up. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, what do they tell you to do when you're caught in a rip current or a riptide? Swim I don't give a shit. And I just like put my head down and I started gassing out, trying to go straight back to the shore, and it wasn't working. And so I come back up again, and I'm starting to panic a little bit. And it's so, the weird thing was, like, it was so quiet, and I was filled with such, I remember being like, are you fucking kidding me? This is how I'm gonna die? This is so fucking stupid. My friends are gonna be pissed. It's such a stupid way to go. And finally, I was like, I remembered my roots. Massachusetts, Irish Catholic family. I started saying the Our Father. And I was like, God, just give me one more chance. And I'm saying my prayers because there's nothing left to do. At this point, like, I'm looking back at the shore and the lifeguard stand is so small that I'm like, even if I'm waving my hands, I'm not sure if they can even see me. And so I'm praying, and all of a sudden I hear, hey, you need a little help? It's like, that's what God sounds like? Hey, you need a little help over there? And I turn, and there's my angel, Henry. He's in a kayak. He's like, I'm so gassed out, and I grab onto the back of this guy's, Henry's kayak, and he's like, don't worry about it, I'm gonna get you back in there. And since I'm on the back of it, I'm fucking up his whole flow, and he starts getting pulled out too, and he's like, well, at least we're floating, it's okay. And so we're both just slowly going back, and he starts waving his oars. And I'm still saying the Our Father, and all of a sudden I see lights, like the lifeguard SUV lights go on. But I'm still, like, we're so far out that I'm still like, that might not be for us. They might just put those lights on every morning when they come to the lifeguard stand. Like, they probably can't see us. Luckily it was for us. Like, the Coast Guard had to come out and pick me up. And so I like get onto the speedboat. And I think Henry really was an angel because I didn't even see him. Or maybe just in the distance I was like, you be more careful next time, pal, okay? And he just went back to shore. I couldn't tell you what Henry looks like. I couldn't tell you. I think he had a little gold ring above his head, and he was just, no. But I remember I got on this speedboat, and I was like, oh shit. I'm like, mind you, I'm a struggling actor. I was like, do I owe you guys $500? Is this like the ambulance? Like, and they were like, no, don't worry about it. We do this all the time. And they take me back into the shore, and they can only get so close. And the lifeguard puts on flippers and hands me like the Baywatch floaty thing. And he's like, hold on to this. When I jump in after me and just kick as hard as you can. Because the tow was like so hard. They told me I was almost a mile out into the water. It had been 45 minutes of treading water this entire time. And so now we're back toward the shore, and we jump in, and I just kick my legs as hard as I can, and we get back to shore, and I'm like, so, your equilibrium is just so off. And I remember just kind of like standing there, and I like looked up at the lifeguard, and I was like, now what? And he was like, go home and drink some water, it's fine. And I was like, and I just gave him a hug, and he was like, it's all right, man, like, see you later. And so I start walking alone down the shore, and I see this man. He gets up out of his lawn chair, and he comes over to me, and he gives me a big hug. And I just kind of like nuzzled into his neck. I was like, and he holds me by the shoulders, and he goes, I thought you were a goner. I was like, were you watching the whole time? And he was like, it's a good thing you're in such good shape, man. Have a great day. And I was like, well, you know what? I'll take the compliment and get the hell off the beach. Thank you, everybody.